once was old is now new again. Welcome to Georgetown, South Carolina, the third oldest city in the state of South Carolina, and now still thriving today. Actually, going through a renaissance, some would say. It's time to learn more about this area that more and more people are coming to call home. So if you've been to Georgetown before, you've most definitely been at the River Room for a bite to eat, and probably next door at the Big Tuna for a beverage or two. Now, this is the center of the Georgetown Harbor Walk area. You've got the fishing tournament, the boat show, and of course in the springtime, you know, in other parts you've got the plantation tours. Lots of people love those, see those amazing houses as well as those azaleas in bloom. But let's talk about real estate for a second. We definitely have some local and regional builders who are starting to build in the area. Georgetown is about an hour away from Conway, about, say 20 minutes, half hour away from Pawleys Island. And then to downtown Charleston, I'd say about 45 minutes. But right here, we've got some really nice development. So you've got these businesses and restaurants on the bottom floor, and a lot of people are beginning to develop by adding some nice condos on the top floor of these businesses. So we're about to see some very different and exciting energy happening in downtown Georgetown. I am so thrilled to have as part of our conversation about learning about the area of Georgetown, we've got noted historian and author Steve Williams with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm just going to dive right in because when it comes to Georgetown, there's so much to talk about. Steve, I could have you sitting here for 3 days probably.
Yes.
So this is a town that started, my goodness, before even Revolutionary War time. And so we have this area that it's important because of what it offers in terms of where it is and what's included. So you've got some really fertile ground around here too. So let's talk about why that's important to Georgetown's success way back when.
What put Georgetown on the map is rice. And you cannot have rice without a delicate balance between fresh water and salt water. Well, these rivers, and I believe it's 4 rivers that empties into Wynyard Bay, but there is another river very close. But either way, rivers is what made Georgetown so prominent during the antebellum South, because Georgetown, like many other coastal towns, was struggling. The first cash crop was indigo. And other coastal towns may have had tobacco and cotton, but being on the coast, Georgetown had rice. And you cannot talk about Georgetown without talking about rice, which leads into the need to have an intensive labor force, which leads into the African-American contribution to Georgetown, which is prominent.
Well, first we'll talk about indigo. Just in case anybody who's watching this doesn't know, the indigo plant is actually used to create blue dye, from what I understand.
Absolutely.
So you're going to see that word indigo on a lot of businesses around Georgetown.
You are.
I know I didn't know what it meant before. So again, so you're going to see that. So that's the blue dye that could be in clothing. It could be in all kinds of things.
Sure.
But it just wasn't, as they found, profitable as rice quickly became for the area.
Yes.
And so Georgetown wasn't just known in the South. It was known all over the country and became a very wealthy place quickly.
Well, and you're absolutely correct, and this is not common knowledge, but the rice producers and rice production in Georgetown easily supplied at least 1/3, if maybe more, of the rice for the entire country and many of the countries in Europe. Rice was inexplicably profitable to many people, and this went on for almost 100 years.
So we have all these people moving into this area, and that's very exciting. We talked about, for Georgetown, the theme is what was old is now new again.
Yes.
And yet we have an area full of museums and places that offer tours of what were plantations. Would you encourage those who are going to make this area home to take a look at and go to those museums and go on those tours?
I not only encourage, I insist I'm excited about people, new people coming to Georgetown, because they're learning the culture, they're learning about things that they perhaps were never taught and never knew. But more importantly, they are embracing it. But what makes Georgetown unique is that a lot of the property, and it's quite affordable, okay? A lot of the property that people are purchasing, they're learning the history of it, but they're also embracing the African American contributions and hopefully one day the Native American contributions to it.
Steve Williams, we could again be here for days. You have just made this such an enjoyable conversation. Yeah. Steve has written multiple books. You can certainly, as we all do, you can Google him. So you can say Steve Williams, Georgetown historian. You will find a list of his books. He also contributes to, make sure I get this right, gabnewsonline.com.
Yes.
So that is Georgetown's online news source, so that he does some columns, probably about, what did you say, twice a month, something like that?
Sometimes,
okay.
Once, twice a month, yes.
And I want you to keep an eye. He just has so much, I'll call it flavor with his stories, and I want you to know about this so that you can understand this community and you can consider making it your new home. Thank you so much, Steve. It was an honor.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Okay, we've talked about rice, we've talked about indigo. Did you know what else we need to talk about? Salt. So you see this egg-shaped plant behind me? That is the home of Bulls Bay Salt Works. And yes, South Carolina is known for producing a great deal of iodized salt. So yes, the next time you pour a little Morton salt on one of your recipes, it might have come from Georgetown. So if you're a history buff or somebody who likes to walk through homes like I do, Georgetown is definitely a place you're gonna love. So right now we're standing in front of Kaminsky House. So this original structure is dated pre-Revolutionary War. Incredible, I know. And then in 1931, the Kaminskys bought this, and he was very instrumental in doing several things in the area, including starting the coastal highway, which many of us are familiar with, as well as instrumental in putting together the intracoastal waterway, of which we are connected to right here, and that is part of the Sampit River. And as you can see from the scenery, what a beautiful place to call home. So here we are at the complete opposite end of Harbor Walk, and this is where we're going to talk about what industries we have here in Georgetown. What you see behind me, the steel mills. And there's a love-hate relationship here in Georgetown about that steel mill, because what some people in Georgetown want to do is close that steel mill down. Why? Because it is primo real estate. They really want to have that to continue the development of the Harbor Walk area so they can have more shops, more businesses, more real estate like condos, so that they can have more things here that bring in more money to the area. Stay tuned on that one. As you're strolling down the sidewalks here, you can just feel it. The cafes, the boutiques, seeing the architecture from buildings from years gone by. It's just this perfect combination of a beautiful history combined with a renaissance that is about to come. It's a great energy, and maybe it's the energy of your new home. If you have any questions, please give me a call. Celia Klein with High Garden Real Estate, 843-321-9646. Like and subscribe right here. And hey, if there are others who are thinking about moving to this area, go ahead and tell them about this YouTube channel and make sure they take a look at these videos as well. This is Talk of the Town, and it's Georgetown, South Carolina. Thanks for watching.